Welcome to Creation Crochet TV, where beautiful is easy. Hi friends, Lorene here, and today we are going to learn how to do foundation stitches. You might also hear them referred to as chainless starting stitches or chainless foundation stitches. And you can do a foundation stitch in single crochet, half double crochet, treble, whatever stitch you're using. And the premise is basically the same, whether you are doing a foundation single crochet or foundation double crochet. You are making your chain and your stitch at the same time. So instead of doing a whole row of chains and then crocheting into them, you are going to make your chain and your stitch at the same time. I'm going to begin with a foundation double crochet. I believe it's the easiest to start with, and it's just a little larger so you can see better. Now you're going to begin by chaining 3 or 4 stitches. And whether you choose to do 3 or 4 really depends on the rest of your pattern. If you are working a double crochet pattern where you are going to start with the chain 3 at the beginning of your row, then you want to start with 4 chains for your first foundation double crochet, because the chain 3 is going to become the chain 3 of each row. If you are working a pattern where you're going to start with a chainless starting double crochet, then you would only want to work 3 chains for your first foundation double crochet. It's not really a big deal if you mix them up. It doesn't make a huge difference in your pattern, but typically that's how I decide whether I'm going to start with 3 or 4. But generally speaking, you begin with 4 chains. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 4 chains for a foundation double crochet. Once you have your 4 chains, you're going to work. This will become your first stitch or your first double crochet and your first chain. You're going to work your next foundation double crochet into this first chain that you made. So yarn over, insert your hook into that first chain, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through just the first loop. That's creating the chain portion. And you're going to want to be mindful of that because that's where you're going to work your next stitch. And then complete the double crochet the same way you would complete any double crochet. Yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And this gives us 2 foundation double crochet. Now the next one is going to be worked, like I said, in that chain that you made. So you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into that first part of the stitch, or what was the chain. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to again yarn over and pull through just the first one. That creates your next chain. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And you just continue to do this until you have the right amount of stitches. Yarn over, work into that chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 1, and then complete your double crochet. Now you're working basically upside down when you're doing foundation stitches, because this first part that you're making here is the chain. So when you do your next row, you're going to be working back this way. I also find it easier to hold it this way rather than holding my work this way, because sometimes if you hold it this way, this chain that you make can get tight and it creates a pretty strong curve or bend in the work. So I hold, once I've done the first few stitches, I hold my work this way. And I just make sure that I'm pulling up enough on this first chain portion so that my hook is parallel to the fabric. I don't want it to be like this, because then this first chain portion, or the chain that I'm making, is going to get really tight. So I make that chain and then I continue to work my double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into the previous chain, yarn over, make the other chain or the next chain, and then continue to work your stitches. And again, you just do this for as many stitches as you need. That first chain 4 does count as 1 stitch. So if you have to go back and count your stitches, you just count the bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we have 8 foundation double crochets. One of the reasons I absolutely love foundation stitches is because they have so much give. And if I had just completed this first section here with a regular chain, it would not have this stretch. So this is perfect for making necklines of garments because it's going to be stretchable when you pull it over your head. You won't have to make it very large. It's also great when you're starting any project because this is not going to be shrunken up tight. A lot of times that first chain, that first row is much shorter than the rest of the rows because you have a tight chain. Some people overcompensate for this by making their chain with a larger hook. But I say just make foundation stitches because one, once you learn how to do them, they're so much easier than trying to work into chains. It has a lot more give and it looks very continuous. The top of the stitch looks exactly the same as the bottom of the stitch. So you have 2 loops on either end. So when you go to work edging into something or you go to add ribbing to something, it's much easier to do so. Okay, so that is our foundation double crochet. And as I said, when you're done, so this was the section where we were doing our chains. When you're done, you're just going to turn your work and work across this way. Okay, so that's foundation double crochet. Now I'm going to teach you foundation half double crochet. And it's basically the same. It's just how you complete the final part of the stitch is different, just like it would be different between a double crochet and a half double crochet. The chains are also different. So I begin with 3 chains for a half double crochet. You could begin with 2. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. Some designers start with 2, some start with 3. You're going to do your chains, yarn over, and work into that first chain that you made. Just the same way as we did the foundation double crochet. You're going to yarn over and do pull through 1 loop only. That creates your chain portion. Now for the foundation double crochet, we yarned over, pulled through 2, and yarned over and pulled through 2. But we're going to do a half double crochet now. So we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3, just like you would for a regular half double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into that first chain that you made. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over and pull through 1 loop, creating the next chain. And yarn over and pull through all 3. And you just continue to work it the same way you did the foundation double crochet. Again, once I've done a few stitches, I like to hold my work this way so that that bottom chain doesn't become too tight. I just make sure that it's always parallel. Pull through 1, pull through all 3. Lost my work. And you count these the same way as you did the double crochets. This first one counts as, the first chains count as the first foundation double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The top loops are a little different since this is a chain and not a stitch. But if you count the actual posts, you'll get the correct number. And same as with the foundation double crochet, when you go to work the next row, you would chain up as normal, turn your work, and you work across the top. Again, you have the same look on the top and the bottom, and it has all that give and all that stretch. Now I'm going to teach you a foundation single crochet. This to me is the most difficult one. Don't like to use foundation single crochets all that much, but they do come in handy sometimes. You can also work the stitch with a treble crochet, and again, it's the same thing. You just do your first yarn over, and then you complete your stitch as normal. For a foundation single crochet, we chain 2, and this does not count as the first foundation single crochet. You just insert your hook into the first chain that you made, yarn over and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 1 to make the chain, and then like any regular single crochet, yarn over and pull through 2. Now that is considered your first foundation single crochet. Unlike the half double and double crochets where your chains were your first stitch. You don't yarn over for this one because we're just doing a single crochet. You just insert your hook into the chain that you just made, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through just the first loop, and then complete your single crochet as normal. I'll do a couple more here. And again, once I have a few made, I like to hold my work like this so that I can make sure that I'm not making that chain too tight. I'll do one more here. And you count them a little differently. As I said, this first chain is not a stitch. These first two chains. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when I do my next row, I work it just like I would the others. I just chain up and turn and work across the top. And again, my stitches on the bottom look the same as my stitches on the top. And it has all that stretch and give. So that is how you do foundation stitches. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Practice, make a couple swatches, and you will see the difference between foundation stitches and chains. And I can almost guarantee you that once you learn how to do a foundation single crochet, foundation half double crochet, foundation double crochet, that you will never go back to working chains.